So I want to hear, Makenzie, like what allows you, because you're so specialized, you're just doing the recruiting compared to the typical HR manager who doesn't have the time to completely focus on recruitment. What are the things that you're able to do really well that an HR manager can't? I mean, obviously, maybe looking through every single application is a big step in the right direction. But what is some of the stuff that's happening behind the scenes that isn't getting the attention that it deserves from people that are trying to do this themselves?
Yeah, and I think, to preface what I'm going to say is a lot of clients that we work with, they have a full HR team. Some even have a whole talent acquisition team. For us at Dudley Staffing, we want to be a partner, right? So we don't want to just be another vendor, another staffing agency to fill, a role. We want to come to your facility. We want to see what your culture is like, because that is probably one of the number one questions that you get as a recruiter, in a third party is, well, what's their culture like? Um, so we want to take all that time up front to really understand the company, what their culture's like, understanding their highs and their lows and what their benefit package is. So when we're talking to these candidates, we're not wasting their time or the client's time if it's not going to be a right fit. So on the candidate side, though, we also get a lot of candidates that reach out and are like, hey, I'm casually looking for a new job. So we're able to make those connections. Maybe a job for a client's not even posted, but we know that they're looking, and we can kind of match those candidates and be like the matchmakers on the back end. We also, Brandon touched on it earlier, is do behavior assessments or personality assessments. We handle all the drug tests, the background checks. So not just the time that goes into all those, but it's also the manpower and the cost that goes into those too. So at Dudley Staffing, that's all included in our cost to make it like really a full service recruiting firm.
No, that's really great to hear, and I absolutely agree. But what if like you need to find someone really quickly? Like both of you have mentioned already that you need to find someone yesterday. What can you do that allows you to fill a position faster and better, not just faster with a heartbeat, but with someone who actually fits than the typical company can do?
Yeah, so we have a whole database, right, of candidates that are in our locations or we staff all across the US. But so we have those candidates already in our database that we can send, contact within seconds. We also are very well connected in LinkedIn and just different networking groups that, our posts and our job postings get a lot more views than, maybe a standard company's would. So we have a lot of different resources on the back end, and then not, also including all the job boards and everything like that. But just our networks in general, really, leverage us to be able to find someone quick that's also the right fit, right? You don't, like you said, you don't want to just find someone quick that just has a heartbeat and you're like, okay, they can do the role. But we really want to find that perfect fit. Or that rainbow unicorn, as they call it, to make sure the client's happy, make sure they're a good culture fit, and can also do the job.
And just to add on to that, I mean, we're living and breathing this 24/7, and everybody else knows that we're doing it too. So I was talking to Makenzie this morning about like all these LinkedIn connections I'm getting, and they all say open to work. You know, because you're in this world, candidates see you as a bridge to their next career, right? So not only our clients, and hopefully more and more clients reach out to us, but candidates are already coming in the door, and we just got to find a home for the ones that fit with that particular company. So we're living and breathing it 24/7. It's all we do. It's all Makenzie focuses on. It's all some of our recruiters in the back office focus on. A typical HR manager has a big job to do. They've got a lot of things on their plate, and they can't live and breathe recruiting all the time. We want to be that partner, as Makenzie says, to help them with that. Hey, you don't even have to use us. Just let's get on paper. Let us try to find somebody for you. If you don't like who we found, you don't have to hire them. It's no cost to you. You can move on down the road, and it takes 30 minutes of your time, an hour of your time to look at a resume and talk to the person. And that's it, as opposed to trying to being in a hiring frenzy, spending all day trying to find somebody else and putting everything else you're supposed to do on the back burner. So I think that's one of the main reasons.
So we touched on, obviously we see the value in working with someone like Dudley Staffing, but what if someone's already worked with a staffing agency in the past? They've already had a previous experience. What what sets Dudley Staffing apart from the other staffing agencies, recruitment agencies that are out there? Why are we different? More than just our experience, more than just the culture we have internally. What sets us apart?
Yeah, so there are a lot of staffing agencies out there, and so there are a lot to choose from. But what I think Dudley Staffing has that a lot of others don't is our people. Everyone says your people are your best asset in a company. So your people are going to dedicate the time. So we are going to dedicate every ounce of the day that we have to make sure we're finding the right fit. Communication is a huge thing. Hiring managers don't want to send you an email and not hear back for days, right? Like you can call my personal phone, you can text me, like any method of communication, like we are going to get back to you, within an hour at the max. So just trusting your people. And I trust Dudley that we're gonna fill that position fast. We're gonna communicate with you throughout the process. We're gonna make sure that you feel heard, right? We don't want, again, anybody can read a job description, but we want to have that meeting. We want to create those relationships so that we can really understand you, your culture, your company, so that we can find you that perfect.
Same. I mean, it's about communication, and like Makenzie says, there's a lot of staffing companies out there, and there's a lot of really good ones. There are. We want to be associated with those top level ones, and we're going to do what it takes on our side to make sure we are. We're going to set standards. We're not going to stray from our core values. In our core values, I think they're posted out there, Makenzie. If they're not, we will. I think that's what's going to get us there. And Dudley Land, you don't get to stick around in the oil and gas business for 40 something years unless you really care about your clients, really care about your people. It just doesn't happen. There's a lot of other brokerages throughout the years that, they didn't care as much. They didn't communicate as well. And therefore, they're not in business. And we feel the same way about staffing. If we don't communicate well, if we don't care about what we're doing, and we don't live by our core values, it's not going to go well. And we've got every motivation to do that and to keep that up. And ultimately, you sign on with Dudley Staffing, we're going to care about you, and we're going to care about the people that we staff in your company.